Wow. Energy, that's setting the vibe, setting the tone for this.
It is. I love it.
So guys, we're going to confuse you today because it's not me interviewing Sony, it's Sony interviewing me. There we go.
For a nice change of pace, since you're always interviewing people.
I know, and I don't even think about it. I feel that they're just conversations.
Which they are. And that's the beauty of having these conversations, is that they feel so normal and natural, and they are actually.
Well, I suppose it's like people are just in our Zooms because we have regular Zooms. So it's like we're inviting people into a Zoom chat today.
Yes, they're getting a peek into what our regular conversations are like.
We're not going to do everything. We're just going to, yeah, all right, a more formalized version of it.
So shall we start by wishing you a beautiful happy birthday, Karen?
Thank you. For anyone who doesn't know, me and Sonia are the same age, apart from for like 6 weeks every year. So caught up with you, me and Sonia.
Yes, we're back to being the same age. And what a beautiful way to celebrate the launch of this great book on your birthday. So congratulations for that.
Thank you. This is my heart book. This is my gift to the world, this book. I love it.
And, I did feel that in reading it, that it does feel like you're just giving so much of yourself in it. And in fact, I love that at the beginning, when you open, you say you want to be a big sister to everyone. So tell us more about that intention that you have of being a big sister to people.
Yeah, well, I suppose I've always been the eldest, apart from, in our soul sisterhood here. But I've always been the eldest in my family. And whenever I'm gifted with knowledge or experience or whatever it is, I want to share it. I don't keep things to myself. I'm a great believer in we learn things in life. We're supposed to share it with others to help others have an easier ride, or to learn, or to see things differently and share perspectives. So when I was asked the question about how do you do life, always on this kind of vibe. Obviously a busy, crazy, chaotic life with being mum of 6, but I always, feel aligned, and I love my life, and it loves me back. And it's chaos, yes, and it's someone else's. My life is someone else's nightmare, but it's my dream, and I'm blessed to live it and to be able to show up for story. I join people on their journey for a time or for a long time, but a lot of people end up becoming the family I choose through authorship, because we become so closely connected to the story and to the journey that the book goes on. And I started off as an author first, Sully, didn't I? And back in 2010, I published my first book. 12 I wrote it in 2010. And that book was an absolute catalyst into me becoming an accidental publisher and making a sacred promise to join people on the journey. And then whenever I was asked about, could I, write about this, I was like, yeah, I could. And then I identified that I had 7, I called them principles at the time, but I now call them master gifts. And those master gifts, I ended up dedicating. It happened serendipitously. It wasn't planned. It ended up that I wrote 1 book a year, and I lived through that principle for the whole year. So mindfulness was a beautiful year. I wrote the book in 3 weeks for mindfulness during the kids' school holidays. And I love that book, and it was a catalyst into the whole series. The Knowing book is my most popular one, and that Knowing year was a beautiful year. The Intention year was my most successful year ever, financially, but also on this beautiful, high, gorgeous vibe that I just absolutely adored. That year. Forgiveness year nearly killed me. That was a tough. So much came through for that year, and so much growth happened in that year, and to come beyond forgiveness was really a big moment for me as well.
Quite powerful, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. It was like I got run over by a bus, but I came out the other side, and I was like, I have so much to share with people. It was really good and very important for me to journey in my life through that. Amazing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so tell us, how was it that you came up with these 7 gifts? Because there's also a process to them and a journey through them. So how was it that you came about them?
There was 5 initially. They were mindfulness, knowing, intention, love, and gratitude. And then I realized that forgiveness and belief were both very important as well. So, and they were things that I lived through. And love is at the center on purpose, because love is at the center of everything that I do. I do everything with loving intention. And that's why things happen fast. I believe love is the super fuel for success. And so then I would just write them, and I go with it. I allow things to be revealed. So nothing's set in stone when I embark on the journey. I embark on the journey with an intention of going towards a goal, but bringing everything along the way. So whenever I set out, I didn't intend to invite guests into the books, and you're in the beauty of belief, Soni. And I have a lot of amazing humans around me who all live their best lives and who show up and show the knowing in motion. I have the wonderful Elizabeth Gilbert in that book. Like, how fabulous is that? And in Magic of the Miracle of Intent, I have Peace Mitchell and Emma, and there's just Adria's in it. There's just so many amazing people showed up to come into these books with me to share what I was sharing, but to show it in motion in life, because that's what it is. You can learn these things, and I share very intimate things in these stories. I share the journey and the lessons and the things that I've been through. But not to share the lessons in them, because if someone can resonate and connect with something I've went through in life, and that's the highs and the lows. It's not just all lows. I share the wins and how I make things happen, how I manifest, and all of those types of things. And like, I'm a work in progress. There's going to be times where my energy's down, and I had a big period of that, or my focus is somewhere else, and I need to do, so I'm not always on that tangent. But I'm human, and I'm always a work in progress as well. But I have achieved a lot of things in my lifetime that I feel very blessed to have achieved. I've experienced the most amazing things in my lifetime, and they've happened at a very young age and at super speed. So if I can share the knowledge and the how behind all of those, and I suppose most importantly the mindset behind that, then I think that I'm doing my duty.
Absolutely. And what I love about what you just said is that, you acknowledge that you're a work in progress, but I feel like that's what you give people space to do, to be a work in progress by reading this book. And one of the things that I really valued the most is that you have in here not just affirmations and suggestions, but you also have space for people to write. Like I'm trying to find one of the pages that has people can actually use this as not just a book, but an actual workbook. So how was that for you, coming up with that structure for this book?
Well, especially in the mindfulness book, because when I did that book, it was supposed to be a workbook as well. And I've gone on to do, I call them kits, like I've got an Awaken kit, I've got actual workbooks and courses coming that are specifically for working. But as I said, we're a work in progress. And as you're reading, I like to give actionables at the end of a chapter so that people can, in that inspired moment, because when you read something, you have somebody's full attention. And in that inspired moment, whilst they're reading, and something comes to them, why not action it straight away? Because we can be inspired by things, we can resonate with things, but unless we action what it is that's ignited within us whenever something resonates, it won't make something. We won't be able to see it in our lives. Whereas if we act, we're going to see the results in our lives. And I'm all about actioning straight away. If it's a hell yes, get to it, get to work. Even though I do have a to-do list as long as myself, but that's it. There's two different things there. Whenever something's soul aligned, you action it straight away. That's the universe likes speed, Soni.
And so tell us a little bit more about these kits, because I know that you have quite a few sort of work throughs through each of the books. How are they all coming together?
Yeah, they're coming together really well. I just need to do the videos. So they're all done. They're all ready. We've got the Awaken Life Magic Mastery Awaken kit. We've got the Life Magic Mastery Conquer kit, and then we've got the or the Biz Magic Mastery kit as well. So it's for business, and each of them are beautifully brought together by my wonderful designer, Ida, and Ida. Always just gets me, and they're in, like, we go through awakening, because I had an epiphany one time whilst I was at a Mission Beach retreat. I don't go to many retreats. I usually host retreats, but when I went to Peace Mitchell and Katie Garner's retreat in Mission Beach a few years ago, I was in the middle of COVID. The audacity of me. But the universe was on my side, and I went over a day early, and I came home a day early, and I missed being stuck somewhere, which was a real blessing. But I knew I was very in tune with what I needed to do, even though it was irrational arriving a day early and leaving a day late. However, I'd done a future self meditation, and my writing is my meditation. So if I'm writing, I'm in a meditative state. It's flowing. But I'd done this future self meditation. It was a Tara Merwin, I believe, and Peace led it. And I met my future self, and my future self gave me a message, and the message was, "You are here to awaken those who sleep." So. And that was in 2018, no, 2020, I think it was. 2021. Anyway, whatever it was, I kind of yeah, and it's all to do with my writings, because through my actions and through helping other people get published and building these beautiful publishing companies, I'm facilitating story, and I'm honoring that sacred promise I made to have stories out into the world. But my soul calling is to awaken those who sleep, and I do that through not only my actions but through my teachings, and if I'm doing a video or if I'm writing or whatever it is. And I plan a lot more on my YouTube channel this year, so a lot of free content for people just to come along and to learn, and people will be able to ask questions, and just I'll answer them, connected to, my core master gifts, because I think whenever you identify what your master gifts are and you live through them, you're living to your highest potential.
And that's one of the things that I admire the most about you, is just that you really encourage people to live life at their fullest, or to their fullest capacity. And you do so generously. Like, there's a lot of things that you just offer just because, and you're willing to share. And other people kind of hold back, and you don't. You're very open, and that's really admirable, even in what you share in these books, because there's so many stories and so many people that you bring forth and you're celebrating. I think that's really just beautiful.
Thank you for saying that. It is something I'm really, really passionate about. If I'm doing something and there's a space for someone to to maybe grow or experience it in a safe way. There's a lot of people who are having first experiences of these things. And let's be, we both know that the world is shifting in consciousness, and it can feel unsettling, and it can be fearful, and it can be, there's a big shift happening. And if you haven't been doing the work, that a lot of us have done for many years, which is inner work. It's not outside, it's inside. You just hop inside, get to know yourself, get to know who you are, what makes you tick, become aligned with the best version of yourself, because that's the person the world needs right now. That's what the world needs now, is us all being at the highest vibration of ourselves and serving in that way, bringing our best self to the table. And not, and if anyone is unsettled in life, it's because you're not doing that. And it may seem simple, but it's also quite confronting. And I can tell you from experience and from watching a lot of other people that if you don't choose to go inside, you're going to be brought inside, kicking and screaming. So you may as well to do it by choice, and do it in a way, whether it's through meditation, whether it's through yoga, whether it's through just something that brings you into a Zen state where you stop for a moment, because this world is so busy, and that's why I love books. Books are amazing, because when someone's reading your book, you have their full attention. you know? So let them be good, kind words on the page that fill and nurture our mind. And I often talk, Sonia, about the 5 stages of the soul by H.R. Moody, and I love that book. The 2 stages that always stand out to me is the struggle and the breakthrough. And the reason why they stand out to me is because so many, we all will endure struggle in our life. We'll endure many of them. Okay. I endure struggles all the time, because if you're going to grow, you're going to get challenges. But challenges are not there to stop us. They're there to help us. They're there to help us grow into a better version of ourselves, so that our dreams are the very next step, you know? So the struggle part is where we need to be reading and filling our, feeding our minds full of stuff. And that's why I encourage reading so much. And that's why I write my books, because if you're drawn to reading my book in that moment, then it's because it's going to share with you something and serve you and fill you. And somebody is delivering a birthday gift right now.
Of course we are.
I'm gonna just get that before the dog eats them. All right, one second.
And so, for the people who are still here, Master Gifts is such a great concept and such a beautiful compilation of different things that Karen has put together. I really do recommend that you do, because she has divided it into 7 chapters. And then there's different explanations for each. Sorry, I was just filling the space, Karen, while you're picking up your package.
You know me so well.
Oh, look. How exciting.
Thank you so much. You know, and any
even the cake box is color coordinated with us.
Like, what is it? It's just amazing.
And so, you were talking about meditation, and you actually include a very beautiful meditation in the Law of Love. What are some other practices that you would recommend people, or meditations that you use yourself?
Walking. Go to the beach. Go to nature. That's you know it yourself, don't you, Sonia? You go just and take your shoes off and let your feet touch the grass or touch the earth. You cannot, like, it doesn't have to cost anything. Just going and doing that practice will shift your perspective. I talk many times about, yes, I'm busy. Yes, people say, I don't know how you do what you do. Sometimes I don't, but I don't broadcast it. I still show up with the best of intention. And if I'm in an overwhelmed day, I'll close my diary and I'll go and take a few hours to go recalibrate. And it is by I'm looking at it now, going to the sea, put my feet in the ocean. Water is a beautiful thing as well, Why do you think we have so many brilliant ideas in the shower? And those types of things. It's just we have to embrace. We've got to think wider, open up that peripheral perspective, I call it. I think I've got a chapter in the book about that. Peripheral perspective is to think wider. Because can I just talk on intention for a minute?
Of course.
So this is one of the messages. I really want everybody to realize a lot of people set goals, and goals are fine and goals have their place. But I do set some goals, but I do like to set intentions. And the reason why intention is different than a goal, because when you set a goal, you are also setting in place all of the steps towards that goal. So all of your focus goes on mastering each step. So where's the peripheral there? You're just focused on the step. When we set an intention, we're putting it out there into the universe. We're saying, all right, come on, this is what I want to achieve. And it can be the biggest or the smallest. It requires the same amount of energy to master it. So you just ask very clearly and specifically what you want. And then you have to surrender to the how it happens. It's your job to be progressional and be aware and have your peripheral vision on, because I can guarantee you that the opportunities that's going to come, or the inspired thoughts that's going to come and present themselves to you, you're never going to have foreseen them when you set the intention. The things that escalate you forward to receiving that, you're never going to see it when you set the intention. But they will be revealed to you on the way. And so you have to go on the journey. It's all about the journey, and you have to enjoy the journey. Learn how to enjoy the journey. It's not all about the destination, honestly, because any journey I'm on is so much more fulfilling than the destination, you know?
And I so appreciate that, because I remember us very early on when we had first started getting to know each other, that you mentioned that to me, the power of intent. And I had not considered until then, until you shared this wisdom. And I don't even know if you've written the book at that time, but I think that this intention has been part of you and your life for quite a long time. That you just said, you've got to set the intention and sort of just let go and wait till the magic happens. And when circumstances align, the magic happens. And that's really, I feel like, one of the biggest takeaways that I have from reading a lot of your writing.
Yes, absolutely. If you wake up with an inspired thought, action it straight away. If it's a hell yes, then action it straight away. That's all about the knowing. So how do you know what's an inspired thought and what's just a glittery thing that's going to be a distraction? Because you will ask yourself, is this aligned with where I'm going? And you will know with every ounce of your being if it's a hell yes. And it will require courage to say yes to it, because to action it, it may require an investment, it may require some time, it may require you doing something that's just outside your comfort zone. But that's where the magic is just a sidestep out of your comfort zone. You don't need to take a run, leap, and jump. It's just a sidestep. And if you continue to do those sidesteps safely on your own terms, then that's how you can increase and grow and make amazing things happen in your life. And it's so much fun. We got to prioritize joy. Joy has to be. It doesn't have to be painful.
Well, I'm so glad that you mentioned the word joy, because I was going to say that underlying all of these master gifts, and knowing you for a while, I know joy really features in a lot of what you do. So how does joy fall into the master gifts?
Well, it is what I live through. And I suppose it's, why is joy not one of the master gifts? Well, it's because it's me. It's my choice that I have is just to be joyful. It's a personality thing, whereas the others are not part of my personality. They are, and it's a priority thing. But one of the things is my mother gifted me this. I was very blessed. My mother always, whenever I would come to her with a problem, she would say, just do what makes you happy. That's where the answer is. And she would always encourage us to do what made us happy, but always be values aligned so that it wouldn't hurt someone else, or you know what I mean, always be mindful. So joy, I have always loved life, and I have always been curious and had such a zest for learning new things. That's why I'm a great person at building things, maybe not so good at sustaining them, because I love the new, I love the innovativeness, I love experiencing things that others haven't experienced. And I just have this curiosity for life, and my mind goes in different tangents, and I pursue it, and I just love it. And that fills me up. But that may not fill someone else up. That may be like, no, God, that doesn't sound safe, and whatever. Whatever it is that brings you joy is where you should hang out. It's what you should get a job in doing, because it doesn't feel like you're working every day. Yes, you may clock in, clock out, but if you're enjoying it, I'm telling you, those hours just fly in. I'm like, there's not enough hours in the day, because I love doing what I'm doing, because it's like, come on. But it is that. And now another year around the sun. So, it's just like, wow, so much done.
For somebody who's just starting, who's just sort of questioning, like, how do I go about this? What would your advice be?
Oh my God. All right. So if you're just starting out and you're wanting to get into a flow of really knowing what it is that you want in life. So firstly, the big thing is to know what it is you want, and you will find that where joy is. Okay. So go and do things that you enjoy doing. Okay. Then whenever you may be offered opportunities in that as you go along, be able to identify things that come your way from aligned with the universe, because you may have made an unintentional intention, and it's all at work. Your subconscious mind is always working, and it always works for your greatest good. It's there to serve you and nobody else. So it's always working for your greatest good, and it's always important to remember that. So gratitude is a really amazing hack to get onto a beautiful vibration of receiving. So when you're starting out, gratitude and affirmations are a really good way to start the flow and to start seeing results very quickly. If you're not doing gratitude and you start doing gratitude, like if you grab a gratitude diary and in the morning write 3 things you're grateful for, and in the evening, before you go to sleep, write down 3 things you're grateful for, that you were grateful for that day. That will you'll see instant results within a week in your life. But one of the hacks with gratitude, and I talk about it in the gift of gratitude, is be grateful for the things that you have, that you want, but that you have not received yet. And that's a hard one for people to wrap their minds around because how the hell am I going to be grateful for something if I haven't received it? Because you've got to be visualizing and feeling the feeling of what it is to have it, because you've got to feel it first and have the faith and the belief that it's yours, and then it will come. And it is hard, but just have fun with it. Test it. Just test it. That's what I did at the beginning when I set the intention to build $1 million press and to serve the world with stories. I knew I would have to build up a big press to have more impact, to get the stories out further and wider. And like, I was a mum of 4 at home, investing $50 a week in my publishing endeavors to help others with their stories. And then any money that was invested was put back in to grow it and grow it. And I just showed up for that. You know what I mean? And I was so grateful for everything. And then the next step would reveal itself. The next step would reveal itself. And so you don't have to know it all. And if you do know it all, like if I knew now what I needed to do, and I would have been so overwhelmed, I would never have taken a step forward. You got to just take it step by step. Don't overwhelm yourself. Really and truly, please you don't need to know everything now. You just need to know what it is to get to the next step. That's my advice.
And how amazing that you started with just $50 a week. And now how many? Yeah. And how many authors have you published? I mean, you have 3 publishing houses. You have a whole publishing empire. So tell us more about
amazing books. So I must say that every author has shown up, and the books that are out there, just because I've been either a little part or a big part of the journey, these books may not have come to be had it not been for me helping out. So I know that showing up and making that promise at that time was it. Like, I'm just so honored to have been part of the journey of so many stories. It really is. And yes, I am one person, but I think whenever you're fueled with a desire to help and to share with people the how, and then people grab the batons, like some of the authors, like you've grabbed the baton and just ran with your authorship, and Michelle, oh my goodness, and it's just beautiful to watch, because I needed that baton whenever I started out, and I wasn't given it, but I found a way. And so that's why when I just started discovering things, and I still have a lot to learn, but I love learning it. I'm making it.
And now even your own authorship, because you did start as an author and you've helped so many people along the way with publishing, but you're an author yourself. And what book number is this for you?
Oh, it's about 41. I'm probably coming up to my age now with 47. I don't ever include the anthologies I'm part of. I've been part of about 30, a lot of anthologies, and so I don't count them in. But with children's books and with fictional novels and all of that, I think we're around the 40 mark, which is, how cool is that? But I'm in the reason why I can do it is because I'm in that space all the time. I'm in words, and I do get up at 5. If I'm writing, I get up at 5 a.m. and I write then. That's when you're closest to a dreamlike state, and the words flow without you overthinking them.
And so what is next for you? What can we expect to hear from you next in terms of your authorship or whatever you're working on?
I can't tell the secrets. I have a few big things in the pipeline. So the Heroes Roar project is very close to my heart. There's a lot. It's kind of took on a kind of energy of its own, and so I'm just showing up and facilitating that, which is so beautiful to see something just take on a life of its own and meant to be. So yes, so Heroes Roar project and docufilms. And that's already in motion, so it's really cool. I'm writing a literary novel. Now that's a big thing for me because I really want to do it really well. So that's my big project for this year. Yeah, it's called A Loveliness of Ladybirds, and
Ooh, lovely title.
yeah, and if you check out A Loveliness of Ladybirds, some people are not aware of it. It's beautiful. And then and yes, some things haven't been revealed. I've kept space this year because I feel like I'm being called to something and it hasn't been revealed yet. So I'm leaving space for some magic. You got to leave room for magic, because if you clutter everything up and fill everything up, how's the magic supposed to shine in? You know?
Indeed. And what I love about how you go about your life is that it's very reflective of here. Like, this is a true piece of who you are and the things that you do. And it's just a beautiful journey. So I commend you on putting this together and all the wisdom that you share in here. And I really feel that you have like nuggets of gold, and so much. I mean, if I were somebody who like to write on books, I would take a bunch of notes. I don't.
Highlight our hands out, guys.
And not from somebody that I admire so much. But what thought do you want to leave us with in terms of the main takeaway for Master Gifts?
Yeah. Well, if you need permission to find your purpose and live without fear, here it is. Okay. Because whenever you know, and whenever you set intentions, whenever you have faith and belief in yourself, there's no fear, because you always know that you're taking the right step. So here is your permission to live without fear and on purpose, and you'll be guided every step of the way. So enjoy it. And I would love to get your selfies back in with the book, whether you grab it on an ebook or on a print version. And I would love for you to share your reviews. There's a big tour happening in April with this. It's going to be so fun to see the impact it has, which is really cool. So thank you for watching, and thank you so much, Sony, for interviewing me and asking cool questions I wouldn't have even thought of myself.
Well, thank you for having me here. It's an honor to be here to celebrate the launch of your beautiful book, and especially on your birthday. So thank you so much, Karen.
Thank you. It would have been so awkward if I had been sitting here interviewing myself. I just had that picture from here, that wouldn't have. So Karen.
Oh, yes. Well, this has been a lot of fun, so thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone who's watched and said happy birthday in the comments. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.
Bye.